quoted out of turn.
You will not be quoted out of turn. So there is, unlike your other show, Brian, there's no censor button here. There's no 5 second delay. You know, whatever you say is going to be recorded for life, and it will go on your permanent record, your permanent file.
I want to be recorded because if I get accused of offending any of you assholes out there, it's not true.
I hope that you
I
offended.
I remember when I'm not going to be, I won't be vulgar the whole time, but I thought this was funny. I remember years ago when I was a kid, I've always been a fan of stand-up comedians. And by the way, if you're a loan officer or a real estate agent, and you want to become a better public speaker, don't go to Toastmasters. Go to one of these learn how to do stand-up comedy things, because they're 10 times harder and they're 10 times more effective. But anyway, so I've always been a fan of stand-up, and when I was a kid, I remember seeing it was Dice Clay when he first came out, and he said something, and I thought it was so funny. He goes, "So Doc," he goes, "I'm having a hard time making friends, you fucking asshole." And I just thought that was the greatest thing in the world. And I think everybody can kind of understand that. Anyways, how are you guys doing today?
Doing great, man. That's funny you mentioned the comedy lessons because Jason Steyer and I made a call and did a hangout yesterday. And 20 minutes before the call, he and I were talking about the exact same thing. He'd been making a lot of videos. He said, I keep getting advice from other LOs and from Tim Davis, Movements Coach, and people all over the country saying, hey, skip the Toastmasters, do the comedy classes.
Yeah, I actually saw, I forget who it was, but I can paraphrase what he was talking about. He was a relatively well-known speaker on the circuit. He had his little dog and pony show that he would do and travel around the country, probably something very similar to what I do. Not on a huge level, but enough where it keeps you busy if you choose to. And so he was by all intent, he was a good public speaker and was very, very comfortable in the role. And his wife bought him this 3-day getaway to a stand-up comedy camp, to where you go there and there's all these. It's kind of like the guitar camp you see where you can go and get these old 80s rockers and you get to jam with them and you write a song with them. It's like a fantasy camp. So he went to one of these comedy camps where they have professional comedians, and you get a group of people and you sit down and you write your skits and you do your stand-up in front of other comedians in front of the professionals. Now here's a guy who, like I said, was an effective public speaker. He said the first time I got up there and did the comedy in front of other comedians and these guys, he goes, I got thrashed, just absolutely destroyed. He said, and I started losing confidence. But by the third day, he was writing better because you would just constantly refine your shtick and read an audience more effectively. And by the time he got to his third day, he said he was starting to make some headway. But you know how it is. If somebody's if you're doing one of these public speaking things and you say something, offhand or that's not expected, it's easy to get a laugh, But when you're standing in front of people who are, they have an expectation of laughing, they're looking for something funny. So that stuff doesn't fly there. He goes, boy, I thought I was a great speaker. I could get people laughing in a room. No. So if any of us want to become really effective public speakers, go to one of these comedy fantasy camps. That'll either make you or completely break you.
I love it, man. I love it. So what are we doing here? I mean, Brian, you and I sometimes have a habit of winging it and just kind of saying, we got a topic, let's talk. You're really good at this. I mean, you do Facebook Live hangouts all the time. Sometimes what you do in the National Real Estate Post is lightly scripted, and then you kind of go from there. What are we trying to help the LOs with today? What's today's message for the loan officers? I mean, we know we want to make more videos, but it's a little more than that. It's a little more than just making videos. It's let's give them some direction. Let's tell them how they can do stuff without getting stuck and never taking action.
Yeah, you're right. And it's kind of it's the old Yoda adage: try not do. You know what I mean? And let's think about how people communicate right now. I used to say, well, in years past, because I'm old, in years past, people would pick up their phone. They would, they'd get their horse and buggy out and go talk to a real estate agent. Well, the truth of the matter is that you can't even use that argument anymore. We've moved so far ahead of how people communicate. I always say that the language people speak right now is technology. It's not It's not a language per se like French or English. The language that people speak right now is technology. And as a salesperson, it's imperative that you speak that language. It's just that simple. And everybody knows the numbers and the demographics. If you're under the age of 25, using any type of video chat, any type of live streaming, recording video it's second nature. It's learning how to walk, then do video. That's pretty much how it goes with young kids. So, if you're over that age and it's not second nature to you, you have to get outside of your comfort zone and start communicating through video. You need to do it for a variety of reasons. One of them is it allows you to deliver the perfect message and clone yourself. So you can record a video, and if you don't like it, it's an Etch-a-Sketch. You shake it up, and then you reshoot it until you get the picture that you want. So once you have the perfect delivery for your message, you are recording yourself, and so somebody who's on the receiving end of that gets to see you, gets to hear you, okay? And you start to develop rapport that way. And, I could have a conversation with one person, and that conversation could take me 10 minutes. So theoretically, I could have 6 conversations in an hour. Let's call it 5 because I've got to dial and all that stuff. Now, this is working your ass off. So you could have 40 conversations a day if you're working an 8-hour day. Now, if you've ever done that and you've just dialed for dollars for 8 hours nonstop, no breaks, it's taxing. It's difficult. And by the time you're on that 40th call, I guarantee you're not as good as the first call. So it beats you down. Well, now you can record a video and have the perfect conversation, and the next thing you know, 500 people saw it. It's like literally getting your message in, which would otherwise take you a month to do, getting it in 10 minutes or 15 minutes. That's why I always say when people go, well, it takes too long to shoot a video and to edit the video. Okay, but if 300 people see it and it took you an hour, what's more effective? So the ability to clone yourself is huge, okay? The other difference is, if me and you, Mike, we have a great conversation right now, we're having a great conversation on the phone, you're never going to get off the phone and say, oh, I got a great idea. Shit, that Brian said some good stuff. I'm going to call 14 people, and I'm going to say exactly what Brian said to the person on the other end. That doesn't happen. You've never sent a mailer to somebody, and they said, this is some good shit. Well, I'm going to go to my copier and Xerox 500 of these lick stamps and send them off to my friends. That doesn't happen. So video, in some respects, is better than actually communicating directly with a person because, as you just said a moment ago, well, let's record this. Well, why are we recording it? We're recording it so other people have the opportunities to see it after the fact. So you're taking a moment and you're packaging that message and you're allowing other people to use it with their database. So it effectively allows the creator of that content to go in and influence other people's databases. I've always said that a great marketer is not somebody who markets to their database. A great marketer is somebody who understands they can affect other people's databases. The best way to do that is with video. So when we look at this, if we talk about Skype, which sucks right now, but you're using Blue Jeans, we use Zoom right now. You can go onto Facebook Live. All the kids are chatting right now, and they're group chats. Well, again, this is a different way of communication. So as a loan officer, why wouldn't you use the best tools that you have available to you in order to influence more people to make your business more effective? Why wouldn't you do that? And there's only 2 reasons why you wouldn't do it. One of them is you're lazy. And that's the truth. You're lazy, okay? That means you wake, and there are lazy people in this world. You know how in March, you got that guy 4 doors down who still has his Christmas lights up? He's lazy, okay? You know that guy whose grass is this tall in his front yard? He's lazy, okay? So there are lazy people in this world. There are lazy loan officers, real estate agents. That's just the truth. Not all of you, but some of you. And the other one is you're frightened to do it. You're scared to do it, which is a little bit more reasonable because people who are not accustomed to seeing themselves and listening to themselves on video, it can scare them, So I understand that. But we need to overcome that. So if you really think about it, there's one real objection. We're scared to do it. That's the only thing. Because nobody can argue with the results. Okay? Nobody can. You're a better marketer if you integrate video, period. So if you can overcome your own personal insecurities, and I acknowledge that those insecurities are very, very real and very significant for a lot of people. So maybe we record our first couple of videos, we don't necessarily share them. And then maybe when we get enough confidence on that 3rd or 4th video, we blast that one. But here's what I need to tell you guys. when you integrate video into your business, you will do more deals. And you'll find a whole bunch of different utilitarian uses for videos outside of just immediately reaching out to a prospect who's considering buying a house. So, with a national real estate post, listen, we've had 100 million plus views on the show. 100 million plus views. And we talk about boring shit. We talk about regulation. We talk about regulation. We talk about underwriting. We talk about, how do you wake up one day and say, I'm going to shoot a video about title reports? We talk about boring stuff, and we've had 100 million views. So I guess the point here, Fish, is if a schlep rock like myself or you or TJ can influence people on a national level, then I would hope that your loan officer who's watching this or real estate agent who's watching this can understand that they have the ability to affect their local market. You don't need to talk to somebody in Tucumcari. If you can affect people in a 20-mile radius around your house, your business will be better. And here's what we know. We know it will be better because everybody in your market, okay, I'm talking to you right now, you sitting there watching this right now in your cubicle, everybody in your market is not doing this. So when you do it, I'm talking to you, when you do it, you will be the only one. And because great marketing is built on scarcity, meaning the fewer people doing it, the higher the probability someone's going to find you. Because great marketing is built on scarcity, you're going to get a disproportionate advantage. So more people are going to see your message, more people are going to want to work with you. So video is huge. And I think the big part, and I'd like to hear what you guys have to say, is just talking about it. Just doing it. Just do it. Just hit that record button, figure out a topic you want to talk about it for 2 or 3 minutes, and then sit back and analyze yourself. Check it out.
I love it, man.
One of the things I always think about when we kind of have these conversations is, the first time I saw you guys on Think Big Work Small, I had no clue who you were, but you had this video, and then you played a video of Peter Schiff, you introduced the video, and then you did an exit. I'm like, these guys are freaking geniuses. Look how smart these guys are. I need to watch them every single day. But all you did was find somebody else's content. You set it up, you shared it, you told a joke in the beginning, you told a joke on the end, and then you told everyone to go to work. And I'm like, yeah, man, these guys know what they're doing right here.
Well, and this, by the way, you bring up a great point, TJ. That's a great way to kind of tiptoe into doing video, because we can put together what we believe to be some great content videos, and it's like, damn, that didn't get a lot of views. That was a great show, and then you get like a video of some 25-year-old drunk jackass in a subway wearing a Philadelphia Phillies, shirt, who's running along a subway, who smashes his face in a pole, and that's on the Today Show with 100 million views, and yet my great content gets nothing.
Right.
What does that tell us? That tells us that people want to be easily amused. Mm-hmm. So this actually happened to us. We call it a sandwich video. So what you want to have is you want to have your pre and your post rolls on there, your bookends. And it goes something like this. Okay? I'm going to teach you how to do a video right now. Hey, here's your pre-roll. Everybody, right now, write this down. Here's your script. Hey, Brian Stevens here. You want to see something funny? Check this out. That's it. Then play your video in the middle, and then at the end you say, pretty funny, huh? Hey, listen, subscribe. I'll send you some more funny stuff. And if you're looking for a loan and you're in the Solano County area, give me a call. My name is Brian Stevens. My phone number is down below. Thanks. That's your video. And then you sandwich that thing that we know is going to be viral,
right? And
you pop that thing in the middle of these sandwich videos. We did this when Frank had just got out of doing loans, and he did. We did a sandwich video. I can't remember what it was on, but fast forward like 3 or 4 months, okay? And Frank gets a phone call, and it's from some dude he doesn't know, and he's like, "Hey, Frank, how you doing?" And Frank's like, "Good. How are you doing?" And He's like, yeah, man, I need to get a loan. And Frank's like, okay. How did you get my number? You know? He goes, oh, you know that funny video that you sent out with that, whatever the hell it was? That was like 3 months earlier. And so, do you remember what that video was?
It was the Bluetooth one. Remember the Bluetooth law came in
Oh,
California?
yeah.
And I found that super funny video
Yeah.
of that guy, and I just sandwiched it. I said, hey, Bluetooth's coming out. You got to have a Bluetooth headset. Here's a pretty funny video. Watch it. And they played the video. Then it came out, and I said, if you need a Bluetooth headset, I put a link down below for discount Bluetooth headsets. But otherwise, I'm here for all your mortgage needs. If you need any help with a mortgage, let me know. You know, that's what it was.
So what the guy did, the guy had a Bluetooth. It's when they first came out, they were popular. And, you know, how you could drive responsibly. And the video was, the guy was going, this is great, man. Now I don't have to hold a phone. I got both my hands to do a whole bunch of shit. And he's like sharpening his skates.
While he's driving.
Driving
with his knees.
He's doing tattoos on somebody else. And he's over there. He's like, hey, watch where you're going. Drive responsibly. I got a Bluetooth over here. You know, it was totally funny. But the moral to the story is that video. I mean, think of where that thing traveled. You know, we were joking with Mike. You know, it has to. You know, internet's going to be slow. It's got to go all the way up to Michigan. It's got to go through the snow, and you know. But think where that video traveled. It was in somebody's inbox. They watched it. They laughed their ass off. They sent it to somebody else. They watched it. They laughed their ass off. Went somewhere else. Sat for 2 weeks. Went somewhere else. And landed with this dude in a market that was, you know, 100 miles away. And then he started watching our videos. And then he started liking what we were doing. And then he felt like he knew Frank because he was seeing him every day. And by the time he actually needed a loan and picked his phone up, he was calling his friend. Hey, Frank, remember I told you, hey, Frank, what's going on, man? Frank's like, who the fuck are you? You know? So that little sandwich video, it served its purpose well. And if you think about it, those type of videos, they can go on for weeks. They can go on for months. They can go on for years. So think about this. Every time you shoot a video, okay, and you shoot the next one, and you shoot the next one, and you shoot the next one, you're building equity. Because all of these are going, and they're all individual videos. They're like their own page. And so they're all traveling. They all have their own journeys that they're doing. But they're going to cross the paths of different recipients, and you're going to find people who are going to say, hey, you know what, after the second or third time I see this guy, you know what, I think I will subscribe. Now, if you have somebody who's subscribed to you, let's think about this. You're a database marketer right now, so I don't know. You're sending out postcards to your past clients, you know, once a month. Maybe you're doing the personal notes. Those are fun. Writer's cramp sucks, right? Maybe, yeah, are you hitting everybody? Are you calling them all the time? I mean, how often can you call your database? You got 300 people in there. You know, once a quarter? Well, now think about this. You do a video every day, every second day, every third day. You're not only hitting your database, the people behind you in your rearview mirror, you're hitting the people beside you, the ones who are currently in the throes of doing a transaction with you, and you're hitting those through the dashboard, those in front of you who you want to have work with you. So your video has the ability to impact those you have worked with, are working with, and want to work with. So in that sense, video is going to be great for you. And TJ, great point with the sandwich videos. Super, super easy to do. And it's a way to just kind of step your foot in. Sites I like to go to, if you want to find funny videos, go to like break.com. Go to eBaum's World is a real good one. Now, I also like LiveLeak, but word of caution with LiveLeak, you might click on some things there that you don't want to necessarily see. But if you go to eBaum's World or Break, those are both relatively safe. The worst thing you're going to see is a scantily dressed supermodel. You know, oh god, that's horrible.
I'm sorry.
And then all you need to do is what's that?
Break.com for the scantily dressed supermodels.
Yeah, Break,
Okay.
BREAK. And then all you have to do is use a YouTube ripper, and you can rip those videos and pop them into sandwich videos super easy.
And I think the other kind of main point about this of what you said right there is you're getting to know, or your audience that you don't know is your audience yet is getting to know you, right?
Sure.
And there's no hard sell, right? There's no, hey, and this is TJ Barker. Make sure you call me. That video was funny. Interest rates are rising. I just watched Barry Hebdi today, and I saw a shooting star Head and Shoulders candlestick. It's none of that. It's just, hey, going to buy a house or refinance, please give me a call. Type of thing. Just very quick, letting people know who you are, building your audience, building your brand.
You're right. There is no hard sell. And my response is brought to you by Yerba Mate Eco Tea. Tea that doesn't leave a footprint on this earth. Yerba Mate Eco Tea. Drink it today, drink it for life. You're right. There is no hard sell.
I love it.
There isn't. You can have that conversation. And and I'll tell you another point with video is everybody gets concerned about making the perfect video. Like I said, you can deliver the perfect message. But every video doesn't have to be perfect. You need to understand what people need to understand is people like you for your flaws. That's okay. When you see somebody who's polished and perfect, you can't relate to them. You can't. Like, I can't relate to, say, Matt Lauer, except for his little creepy harassing. I relate to that. Just kidding. But the thing is that, in hindsight, when we were shooting videos, nobody was doing this. I mean, nobody was. And so we didn't really go out with the intent to have a lot of people around the country watch us. So we just went out there and we were ourselves in all of our magnificent flaws, and we didn't hide anything. And what we realized in hindsight was that people related to that. Hey, I'm having a hard time making my house payment. This market sucks. This is bullshit. People related to that. And so, people want you with all your glorious flaws, and that's okay. The reason why people are turning off their TV and going to video is because they don't want what's on the TV. So the worst thing you can do with video is try to be the TV. You're not Dan Rathers, so let's not try to be Dan Rathers. Be yourself. It's okay.
I like how.
Go ahead.
I like how our buddy Alex Jimenez always says it. He's like, when it comes to social media and video in general, it is like a TV show, just like you said. And if all you're ever doing is giving people commercials, they don't want to watch commercials unless maybe it's a Super Bowl or they're in prison. It's like, otherwise people, they want things that, like you said, Brian, entertaining, enriching, and engaging, stuff that's interesting to people. And
you're right. My response is brought to you by Assured hand sanitizer. During the flu season, you want to make sure you use Assured. This is the best hand sanitizer to keep you healthy.
And there'll be Amazon links for all these products at the end of this video.
Exactly.
I'm literally grabbing everything around my desk. The next one you're going to get is going to be peanuts, and this doesn't have a brand.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, people like you with your flaws. Me and Frank went down the wrong road. When we first got a green screen, we green screened everything. And we thought, boy, this is neat. And we lost, for a very short period of time, we lost direction of our content, and we were more concerned about what the background looked like. And I think right now we've come full circle on that. Not only do I think you do not need a green screen, I think your videos are better without a green screen. It makes things more real. So if you're watching this and you're thinking about jumping into video, don't be concerned about, the quality per se. You don't have to have a professionally produced video piece. My backdrop is my office. It's a little busy, and I kind of like that. Fish, you got a little American flag. I can see your board behind you where you're busy. TJ, you're still being held captive by Al-Qaeda.
If I remove this, you guys would understand why that is there.
Oh shit!
We sent him like a mortgage shot. We sent him all kinds of stuff to put it back there, but I don't know.
The mortgage shots, it doesn't fit. Anyway, so no longer making fun of me. Brian, let me ask you this:
Sure.
So that's kind of working towards the consumer, building your brand locally. So if you're a brand new loan officer, which we have a lot of newer folks here in the network, and you were looking to go ahead and build your brand, build your name amongst potential referral partners, CPAs, real estate agents, divorce attorneys, etc. Any type of advice on the type of videos you would suggest doing there?
All day long, real easy. B2B. I would do B2B, B2B, B2B. I would start with B2B, I'd end with B2B. Truth of the matter is, if you're new with video or you've been doing it for a long time, I would still do B2B. I would do nothing but B2B. We're trying to build up our local community, okay? So let's say you got a great restaurant down the street. You go there all the time. It's locally owned. Guess what? That dude's having a hard time keeping his doors open. I don't care who it is, what market, because running a restaurant is hard work. Okay, margins are small. You know, and your overhead is high. Okay, I go in there. I'd say, Steve, man, I like this place. I'd like to shoot a little video with you. I think it'd be great. I'd like to talk about, community stuff and what you're doing and your restaurant and how you got into it and maybe even offer a discount or something like that and shoot a video with them. And I would, because other people in your community will watch that. Hey, if you guys have been down to Merchant in Maine, you might know Steve. He runs the place. Got a little interview with him. And so your local real estate agents, especially your real estate agents, will watch that, okay? But here's what else is going to happen. Everybody who knows Steve will watch that, okay? So again, remember what I said before. A good marketer markets their database. A great marketer markets other people's databases. So now I'm interviewing Steve. All of Steve's friends are going to watch it. And it's going to be on my blog about what I do, which is selling real estate or mortgages. I'm going to find local real estate agents. You will be hard-pressed to find a real estate agent who does not want to do a video with you. Hard-pressed. They love it. It's kind of like taking a picture of a woman. Don't take my picture. Don't take my picture. Click. Oh, let me see it. Let me see it. Let me see it. So, real estate agents. If you can find anybody who's on your supervisory board, interview a cop if you can. Interview a firefighter if you can. Interview, a florist if you can. Interview people in your community, because everybody who you interview, you're going to be affecting their databases. Now, let's think about this for a second. What am I going to interview? Interview a teacher. Maybe a teacher who kicks ass. Maybe it's your fourth grade teacher. Maybe you got a kid who's in school right now, and you've had, a shitty teacher and a great teacher. We have Miss Columbani. True story. Miss Columbani, when my daughter was going into third grade, okay, all the other parents, they said, oh, you don't want her. You don't want her. She's a shitty teacher. She's a bad teacher. And she's this little tiny curmudgeon of a lady, okay? And I remember saying to myself, I said, well, hold on a second. Since when did we get a right to only surround our children with people who are agreeable? You don't learn from that. You learn from different people and some people who are disagreeable. So I'm like, no, we're not taking her out of that class. We're not going to follow what everyone else is doing. We're going to stick with this Columbani lady. One, Columbani turned out to be a total hard ass. Two, she was freaking awesome. She was the coolest teacher at Alamo Elementary. To this day, 10 years later, she still is. Now, what about getting a little interview with her on there? We became friends with her. She lived with her daughter. She had a little farm. She had her chickens. She had a goat. And, and she was tough on the kids. But I'll tell you what, those kids left the third grade better equipped than teachers who were nicer in other classes. They did. So what about doing a little interview with her? But, you have these Fall Fest things, where they're raising money, where you get the goldfish. Do it around an event so you could do something for the school. Maybe you do the florist in, what month is Valentine's Day? Is it April? April? February, April, one of the two.
February last
February. So maybe you do a florist. Love you, honey. Maybe you do a florist.
What about the St. Patrick's Day?
March 17th. Maybe you do a florist in February. Maybe, you know what I mean? So you can build these things. You can get people in your community that have a chronological competence to it. That's time sensitive. But what you're doing is you're effectively getting other people's databases. And the great part, especially if you're new to video marketing, is that now you have somebody to lean on. Doing the show with Frank is easier than just doing it alone, because you have somebody else to kind of lean on and play off of. So doing that interview with somebody else becomes a little bit easier, and it's very, very effective. And this is something you can do today. I mean, anybody right now, and I see people, there's a loan officer down with a company, I think it's with Van Dyke. I think it's Van Dyke.
Van Dyke
but
in Grand
he's
Rapids?
Doing
the guy from Van Dyke in Grand Rapids, Michigan, who's doing the drive around with real estate agents and cars?
Yeah.
Yep.
Was that where that is?
Yep. Yeah, it's a couple hours from here. We've been watching him a lot in Michigan. Yep.
Yeah. See? So it doesn't have to
I know
be
who he is. I had never met him.
Yeah, so it's something. It doesn't have to be something that's grandiose. I mean, it's something you can do with your phone. Now, where people make mistakes is when they sit down and they giggle the whole time. I'm here with Bobby. They're just giggling like they think like they got an inside joke. Let's not do that. Ask the questions. Come on, let's get brass tacks. Tell me about yourself. What are you doing? I think that's the idea, but it's something that is available to every loan officer. And here's the deal: as a loan officer, your highest and best use of time is going out and talking to people in your community, people who could give you business. You should be doing that without video. I mean, this is the behavior you need to engage in. So, or a real estate agent. This is behavior you should be engaging in, getting to know your community, earning the trust of those, potential referral partners out there. Having a video, it just gives you, a timestamp and an opportunity to share it beyond that moment of conversation. It allows the person you're working with to share it with their database. So only good things can happen. Think of it this way: nothing bad can happen. If you jump into video today, 3 things can happen. 1, you fail miserably, horribly, and a couple people have a chuckle at your expense, and it doesn't cost you any business. 2, you do okay. Maybe you pick up a deal, here or there. Maybe you don't, but you didn't spend a lot of time. Or 3, it works, and you get business. But none of these have a downside. None of them do. So you only stand to benefit by expanding your horizons and incorporating video into your market. As a salesperson, you're a communicator. What better way to communicate right now than with all of our social platforms we have and video? I can't think of one.
Brian, that brings up a good point, and that's most of the questions that folks have been messaging me, and I see a couple on the thread here, have been exactly that. Have been, okay, so now I'm getting better at making videos. I'm hopefully being consistent. I've set up time in the week to get together with one of my own other loan officer friends or have my assistant force me to do it. It's on my calendar. Now what? How do I distribute the message? Somebody literally, I'm going to punch them, ask what CRM should I use? But what do we do next? I mean, I know you guys spent a lot of time with your blog and your email distribution list, and you kind of ventured into Facebook Live. I know I talk about this a lot in our LOA program and in boot camp. And in fact, we talked about it a lot this weekend at our boot camp event. But, what tips do you have for the folks who are trying to figure out how to get that initial distribution started? Where should they be putting their videos? How often should they posting them? Where should they be posting them? Should they spend time going down the blog path, or should they keep it simple? People ask me this question a lot, and I don't know always the right answer. I mean, I have some good tips, but
I think there's a very simple answer to this. What's the path of least resistance? What's the easiest way to get a video to somebody? It's Facebook Live. You click a button and you're on. You're doing it. Okay, that's the easiest way. Where are most people find themselves parked every day? Facebook. So I would immediately start looking at your Facebook Live videos. That's a very, very easy way to do it. Of course, you're live, so you have to keep that in mind. But again, like I said, people like you with all your glorious flaws. If we had this conversation 5 years ago, we would talk about building a blog. But frankly, I think Facebook Live, I think sites like Twitter or links on your other social sites are much more effective right now than building out a blog. I really do. I think if you have a business page, it's going to function very similarly to a blog, meaning that you're going to have people like it. The more people like it and you're driving traffic to it, it's going to have the same effect of, building a database on a blog. So, for example, when the biggest problem me and Frank had when we started Think Big Work Small and moved over to the National Real Estate Post was, we have all these people who want to see our video because they double opted in. How do we get it to them? So you can have all these people who double opt in to you, but every day you have to send that message. So people just can't go get it. They can, but what you do is you send it, you email it to them. All right, great. Now I'm emailing 200,000 emails. Okay. So what happens is the recipients, well, hold on a second. This is spam. This was sent with 200,000, other emails. So we're going to end up in somebody's junk. Okay. Or, so then we have we're sending it off of 5 different servers. And then you have load balancers. So now which one is it sending more off of this server versus this server? So now it's equal distribution. And the next thing you know, we find ourselves paying $5,000-$6,000 a month to send emails to people who want to receive them. Well, that's not good. And by the way, inefficient. And people aren't looking to their emails right now for content. They're looking to their social sites for content. So what I would do is I would go straight to Facebook Live. Now, if you wanted to record your videos and save them on your hard drive, YouTube is another good option for you to do. I personally think that Facebook would be more effective than YouTube. But what you can do, what we do, is we record our videos, download, we'll upload to YouTube. We'll take our embed code from there, pop it on our blog, and then we share it on Facebook. So, but for somebody who's just starting right now, if you want to have a pre-recorded video, record it with on your computer with any simple video editing software, upload it to YouTube, and take that embed code and share it on Facebook. If you're comfortable going live, just go live on Facebook. Just give it a shot. Nobody is going to shoot you if you screw up. You know what I mean?
I like it.
There's actually services that allow you to upload a pre-recorded video and do it on Facebook Live. So it's a little advanced, a little technical, but here's the other point to what you're saying, Brian. When you get started, nobody's watching you. The first time you do a Facebook Live, you have 3 people that are watching, and it's your spouse, your parent, and just some random friend. That's like, what's this clown doing? So
sure.
The first 3, 4, 5, as you're getting comfortable, nobody's seeing it anyway. You just get out there and get used to holding your phone up, talking to it, and kind of give yourself some bullet points and go through it. So I would say, just kind of add to your point about utilizing Facebook. There's a lot of talk as far as changes in Facebook's algorithm, and for the business pages or the fan pages, right? And Facebook's it's not going to have as much reach and organic reach, and Facebook wants to encourage community and interaction and things of this nature. Well, this is a perfect way to do it, especially if you're taking the strategy of B2B and interviewing somebody, right? Because naturally what's going to happen, that person that you're interviewing, you're posting it on your page, the person that you're interviewing is sharing it, right? They're sharing your post because they want their friends to interact with this. What you talked about accessing and marketing somebody else's database. So now you have these people, hopefully they're liking your page, hopefully they're saying that they want notifications and interaction with it. So you're just quickly and easily penetrating somebody else's database, building your brand, all by filming a quick 2 or 3 minute video with the pizza guy across the street, sharing it on your page. Super simple. And I mean, the only cost to it is what? 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes to walk across the street and grab your phone? I mean, simple.
You're right. Do you guys know people who are so smart, and I'm not being facetious, I'm being serious. Do you know people, because I do, who are so smart that they can think themselves out of a good idea? Mm-hmm. And what made me think of that is I run across a lot of people who get caught up in Facebook changed their algorithm, so we don't know if this is the best way to do it. And if we're going to search engine optimize, I need to learn about this. You can learn about. All right, it doesn't matter what they do if you're not shooting the video. It just doesn't matter. So the most effective thing you can do is just get your videos out there. That's it. Don't think yourself out of a good idea. There's somebody who's watching this right now who's on the fence, who's like, well, this what they're saying kind of makes sense to me, but I don't know. Like I said, when we first started doing this, we were sending our videos out to 20 people, 30 people, 15 people, had absolutely no conceptual idea that anybody beyond those 30 people could see it or would see it. The whole idea of like viral videos didn't really exist, as a concept. Now it's second nature to us. We're just looking at influencing the people that were immediately around us. So for that person on the fence right now, again, what I say is don't think yourself out of a good idea. What do you have to lose? It's not business unless you're, completely satisfied with your current production levels and you couldn't possibly do another deal if your life depended on it because you're so swamped and you really need to figure out ways to become more efficient rather than getting more business. You should try shooting a video. Because think of lost opportunity. It's like this, you ever meet that one client and I don't know, like you met a client maybe at the grocery store or you met somebody at your kid's softball game or if you didn't go to the grocery store or you missed that softball game, you wouldn't have met that guy or gal. And then that guy or gal referred you to somebody in their company who worked in the human resources department. The next thing you know, you've done 30 loans. And you think back to yourself, what if I didn't meet that one guy? What if I wasn't in the bread aisle that one day? There was $1 million of business in the bread aisle that one day. If I didn't meet that guy, if I didn't pick that marbled rye, boy, I would have lost out on $1 million. I'm serious. So when there's a deal out there that you're going to get through video. So if you don't do it, what's that lost opportunity? It's not the deal that you're going to get. It's the thread that could lead to. You just don't know unless you do it. But the only thing that we can say for sure is if you don't do it, you're going to lose it. We don't know what's behind door number 1 or door number 2, but if you don't play the game, you don't get to pick either one of them. You know what I mean? So there's only benefit in you guys giving this a shot.
So, Brian, when's your Video Marketing Academy coaching program coming out? Is it $5,000 a month or $10,000 a month or maybe some secret mastermind ninja tribe group, right?
No. No, I don't know. We've talked about that. I'd love to work with you guys one of these days because you guys have great ideas and you're great at what you do. You really are. You guys are as good, if not better, than anybody I've run across. And I've run across like all the people from the top down, and you guys have fantastic stuff. Weekly stuff right now, talking. It's I don't know if that's taxing for me. So I don't know if we have the time or the bandwidth to do it. As I told you, and beforehand, we're going to be doing something out here in San Francisco over St. Patrick's Day. It's going to be 3 days. We're going to sit down. We're going to do all things video. We're going to be focusing on doing it live this time. So we did one of these before. The whole concept was getting you comfortable in front of a camera, shoot a video, edit the video, and be done with the video. The idea this time is you're going to be doing videos live and understanding how and why and targeting and what you should be doing. So it's a massively intensive couple of days of work here. And it is going to culminate, because I know loan officers, it is going to culminate in San Francisco on St. Patrick's Day at a little pub called the Makeout Room, which you don't have to make out with anybody. It's a name. And we're going to have a lot of fun. So we're going to mastermind it. That's what we're going to be doing over St. Patrick's Day. But anything beyond that, I mean, it's just very difficult to, scratch out the time to make it happen. That's the biggest thing.
Like you said, though, you put it in the calendar and it happens. I know we had an event this weekend and we wanted to spend day 2 making videos. So we put it on the calendar. We told everybody to write their scripts in advance. Come day 2, everybody was nervous. Nobody wanted to go first. And Alex Jimenez and I were like, okay, you get up here. Let's go. Come on. Your time to talk. And everyone, they're frozen. But by the second or third take, pretty much everybody had it. And some of the folks that came to our event have already done 3 or 4 videos since Sunday. And they're all messages, oh, great, this is great, Fish, we love it. What should I do here? And just tweaking it as they go. But like you said, that initial fear, that initial hurdle, being in a group with other people who are in the same position and have the same anxiety that you do, and having a good leader like Alex, not me, or you, kind of just kicking them in the ass a little bit, saying, okay, it's time to go. Get out of your own way and get on camera. So I dig it, man.
Yeah. The first time I shot a video, I've always been fairly comfortable talking in front of groups. It's never really bothered me. Now having done it for so long, I don't even think of it. Speaking to large groups, it doesn't cross my mind to become nervous anymore. But I've always been relatively comfortable. The first time I shot a video, I probably did 20 takes, 30 takes. Because when you're talking to, I've said this before, but when you're talking with an audience or another person, you feed off that, you subconsciously feed off that other person's emotion. So, what you're saying reflects what I say reflects what you say. So if I become a dick, you either go, wait a minute, what's he doing here? Or you become a dick back, one of those two things. But when you're shooting a video, that little light on your camera, it has no emotion. It's like talking to a wall. And you feel really weird talking to a wall because it doesn't give you that emotional feedback to let you know what your cadence should be. And so you have to fake, to a certain extent, you have to fake the emotion or the cadence in your voice because you're just talking to a wall. And that becomes difficult because you feel stupid doing it. But then you see the video. If you don't do it, you come across like this. Hi, I'm Brian Stevens. I would like you to use a loan with me. You know, and so you have to kind of create that faux emotion, and that's difficult for people to do. So I understand, and a lot of what we're talking about now is just getting over your fear of shooting the video and just shoot the damn thing. Because I've said this for years. Every video you shoot is going to be the worst video you've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
Because every video that you do, you're going to learn something from it. The next one's going to get progressively better. And by the time you've shot 20 or 30 videos, it's going to be second nature. You're just going to get up there and shoot it, and you're not even going to think about it anymore. And that's when you're comfortable. That's when your videos are going to be great. But you don't come out the gate swimming like Michael Phelps. You know what I mean? You got to do a lot of laps before you really understand what you're doing. And the only way is trial by fire. So just jump in there. And like I said, I always say, get comfortable being uncomfortable. And that's okay. It's just okay. Frank always says, he goes, you may try to be funny, and you're not funny. But you trying to be funny when you're not is kind of funny. You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter. Just go out there and give it a shot.
I like it, man. You got anything else, TJ?
So my last thing for you, it's kind of the question I ask of everyone when we do these. I send a plane out to you because we know I'm not getting on one. I bring you out here. I drop you off in Bel Air, Maryland, where I live. It's a small town overrun by loan officers and real estate agents. I give you Facebook, an iPhone, and a listing booster. How long until you are doing 5 to 7 units per month?
2 months.
2 months.
Because a transaction's going to take 30 days. I'm pulling deals in the first 2 weeks. I'm not being a braggadocious schmuck about this. I'm doing deals in the first 2 weeks.
I believe it.
First thing I'm doing is I'm going out there. I'm going to every single real estate office. I'm meeting people face to face. I'm going to be speaking with their gatekeepers. Okay. I'm going to find a way to loiter in real estate offices. I'm going to grab as many cards as I can get. I'm going to put them in a database. I'm going to upload them. I'm going to find them on Facebook. I'm going to friend them. I'm going to talk with them. I'm going to share things with them. Absolutely. 2 months.
Awesome. So, I think that with those 3 things, because everyone has one, everyone may have all 3, but they're not utilizing and taking action with all 3. I think that the difference of the value that you're bringing with that, you build your brand, you give awesome value, especially with Listing Booster. You access people's database, very inexpensive, very effective. It allows you to separate yourself from everybody else and ask for the business all day long.
Well, yeah, it's like, we were talking about this yesterday, is it's really a matter of messaging, especially with Listing Booster. It's like, okay, all right, so what's the value proposition with Listing Booster? Here's the value proposition. It's going to allow you to cement relationships with real estate agents and get shit tons of leads. So unless you don't want good relationships with real estate agents and a shit ton of leads, go use something else. And that's what it does.
Which, by the way, you're sending your videos to all those leads.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, how simple is that? People are like, how the hell do I get my to what Fish said? How do I get my content out there? Well, guess what? You get 250 leads every single weekend. You meet with 10 real estate agents. You get their stuff boosted out there. You get 250 leads every weekend. In 2 months, you have 2,000 people that you're sending that you're sending your message and your video to every single weekend.
You know what trips me out right now, and it really does too, is that we still have loan officers who are struggling to get leads, and actually generate leads. We're not talking about buying leads, but generating leads. We still have loan officers who are struggling to generate leads, and it's funny because working with you guys, the leads are no longer the problem. The people who are in your local community who have raised their hand and made their home buying intentions known, saying, I am looking at houses, I am at minimum considering buying a house. Getting those people in your business footprint has become an easy thing for us to do. Our bottleneck is really conversion. But when you think the vast majority of loan officers and real estate agents still don't even know how to get those leads, how to put themselves in the middle of conversations about real estate, is striking because they are really behind the 8 ball when it comes to succeeding. The people who are going to succeed in 2018 are not the ones who are figuring out how to get the leads. The ones who are succeeding in 2018 are going to be the ones who are effectively converting the leads that we take for granted they already have. I mean, that's it. Like when you guys first came to my consciousness. When I first learned about both of you, you guys were taking our products and turning them around and generating shit tons of leads. So I was looking at them, I'm like, who the hell are these guys? What are they doing? What are they doing different than everybody else? Because you were generating leads. And after I've seen what you guys have done and work and your strategies, you know, you can almost take the whole lead component of Listing Booster if people are doing things the right way. Strangely enough, people are still doing shit the wrong way. But if you have an ounce of initiative as a loan officer and you follow the instruction that these guys are talking about, getting leads is no longer your problem. Getting viable people who want to buy houses where you live, that's not the problem. The problem is, all right, how do we convert them? And of course, you guys have great strategies for that too now. So,
Well,
you know, when you think of, you know, going from finding somebody who doesn't know you and you don't know them and taking them all the way to giving them keys, you know, to their new house, you guys have got this whole thing figured out. And the last little bit before the finish line was, how do we convert? Because once you convert, it's qualify and close. Well, now that you guys have the conversion down, the whole process beginning to end, there's really nothing that's slowing you down from, you know, winning all the races that you guys are running. And that's what the most exciting thing for 2018 is for me.
Yep, I'd say with the Listing Booster and the leads, you know, it's like planting a tree or a garden, right? You are going to be so damn happy in January 2019 that you planted that garden, you sowed those seeds right now, because all those people are going to get into your database, they want to get to know you, they want to share. So in 12, 18, or 24 months, when they're looking to buy or sell a house, when they're looking to refinance, when their cousin, their aunt, their uncle, their friend, their coworker is looking to do something, they say, hey, you know something? Check out this, you know, text TJB to 48421, you know, or, you know, this, I see this guy all the time. Check out his app type of thing. You definitely want to talk to him. That's where the benefit comes from it, that you're generating thousands and thousands of free, no-cost leads, making your real estate agents look good. You're building your database. You're building your agent's database. You're sending out your message, and you're building your brand every single week for nothing, right? Just as you said, for a little bit of initiative. And I said, the people who did it and did it right over the last 12 months, 18 months are having the benefit. The people who are walking in saying, I got 10 or I got 25 leads this weekend, and not a single one of them filled out an application. This sucks, or doing it wrong.
Well, you know, and like what we just spoke about a moment ago, if you don't do it, you know, who's your $1 million client? Is there a $1 million client in there for you? You know, who's the guy who's going to open the floodgate to a whole bunch of deals that if you miss, you know, you're not going to get that thread at all. You could be overlooking your $1 million client because you're choosing not to take the initiative.
And like you said earlier, Brian, you know, somebody asked what's a CRM. We were kind of joking about it a little bit, but we've perhaps created these email lists through Listing Booster, and everybody's trying to figure out how to send them that little flyer. Oh, here's 26 words. Come use me. What if you actually sent them a video instead? Right. I dropped a video to my email list that was, you know, created through Listing Booster. And I had a real estate agent stand outside of a brewery. I told him to talk about the brewery. He didn't talk about it a whole lot, but it was a fairly recognizable brewery. Talked about a homebuyer seminar coming up. I sent the video out to those lists. We got like 15, 16 people signed up. But it was a video. It was cool. It was a recognizable, you know, landmark in the community. And people open it up and they look at it. And, oh, you know, that's more interesting than people trying to read 20 words or 2 paragraphs, convincing them to, like, sign up to work with a realtor or a loan officer. You know, it's just it's being human and engaging with people. You can use email to do it, but if you combine email and video, if you use Facebook Live, I mean, you use the power of today's tech, you're going to have so many more wins than if you just try to write the perfect 3-sentence email.
Like it is, it's our glorious imperfections. You know, that's a fish. It's what it comes down to. And you know, if you're watching this right now, just think about this. What do you like in other people? You know, I mean, it's an honest question. What do you like about other people? You know, I don't know. How about a thread of honesty for starters? You know what I mean? Like just who? I don't say like honesty. You know, like chopping down the cherry tree type of things. I can't tell a lie. You know, honesty in who you are and how you deliver yourself. You know, I like that. I don't need the suit and tie guy. Hello, my name is Bill McGregor, Prudential Real Estate. And I don't need that. I need a little honesty in somebody's delivery. Somebody who's a little bit laid back. That's me personally. I liked, I had a real estate agent. She was crazy and miserable. Her name, by the way, true story. Look her up, Lisa Marie Tice. She works here in Vacaville, California, and she was like, she was very difficult to work with. She was kind of miserable. But the thing about her is that she would always talk about herself. It was kind of like Irish comedy always has a silver lining of tragedy in it. You know what I mean? And that was the same way with her, to where she would talk about like her own faults and her kids' faults and flaws and things like that. Oh, my kid's driving me crazy. But you were laughing with her about it, So she was the one who was pointing out her own flaws, and having a laugh with you about it. So it made it like very, very approachable. It was like very, very relatable. You know what I mean? And, and she did a lot of business that way. And so I think that that's like what people are kind of looking for. Again, we keep talking about, being less than perfect, but, us and all of our flaws, no one needs that perfect person. So the best thing that you can do is to be yourself when you're making your videos, because you're going to attract like-minded people. And at the end of the day, that's who you're going to find not only the most success with, but you're going to be the happiest with your business. If you find people who are similar, if you carry yourself, and by the way, there's a lot of people who need that suit and tie guy, the buy the book, this is how it's going to, and that's fine, but that's just not me. Now, if you're that person, that's great too, because you will attract people that are going to be of similar mindsets as you, and that's going to make you the happiest with your video. And there's enough people to go around. So being yourself is the most important thing that you can do when you're making your videos. I mean, just hands down.
Hi, my name is Brian Stevens. It's been 8 hours since my last shot of Jameson.
Right.
I'd like to sell you this pen.
Hi, my name is Brian Stevens, and I'm alcoholic. Well, at 3 o'clock this afternoon. No, just kidding. No, I mean, the whole idea is just whatever it is. I mean, just anything, just whoever you are is what you need to portray when you're making your videos. That's all. And if there's things that you like, we've always talked about this. Talk about the shit that you like. Gary Vaynerchuk was the one who talked about this. He goes, if you like ketchup, talk about ketchup every day. How much you like ketchup? Because believe it or not, there are 1 million people in this country who are ketchup freaks. It doesn't matter. Talk about the things that you find of interest. Again, my biggest thing is your surrounding, find the places that you like. I'll give you a real life example. So I just moved, okay? And I was walking by a real estate office, and as I was walking by the office, there was a floor there, a flooring store, all right? And they were selling these new 5/8 thick laminates for 99 cents a square foot. Now, if you know anything about laminates, you're not getting them for under $1.50. If you're getting the good ones, they're like $2-3 a square foot. These are 99 cents. So I walk in there. I go, how the hell are you selling this shit for 99 cents a square foot? He says, well, we're a wholesaler. We sell bulk so we can bring it to you cheaper than anybody. And I said to myself, shit, give me 1,300 square feet of it. I'm going to go lay this tomorrow. I bought a whole bunch of laminates, immediately regretted it because it's a pain in the ass to put in. Got half the people from my office to come, but I got nice new floors now, okay? And I went back and I talked to this guy. This place is dead. It's just dead. And I go, shit, everybody should be coming to you. I said, I actually, after I bought your laminates, I was in Home Depot getting, faucets and shit like that, and I just wanted to check the price against what you're doing. You are half the price of their sales price. He goes, I know. And I go, well, what are you doing to get people down here? It's dead. And he goes, well, we did mark it up on the freeway signs. The big freeway signs are like $10,000 a month. As if somebody who's commuting home from work doing 70 miles an hour on the freeway is going to grab a pen and paper and write down that number. It's not effective use of your money. So anyways, think about this. He's in a strip mall, okay? Right here, an insurance guy, a real estate guy, a mortgage guy, a sandwich guy. Right across from him, a pool guy, a painting guy, the Kelly Moore paints. This pool guy. Okay, somebody who's buying a house, what do they need? They need to paint it. They need to put the pool in. They need to put their floors in. They need to get insurance. They need to get a mortgage. They need to do real estate. And I'm looking at all these businesses. I am not kidding you guys. The furthest one was 50 yards away. You can sit there and look in a circle. You can see all these businesses. So because these businesses are not communicating with each other, how much business are they collectively losing? Because if that pool guy says, I'll tell you what, little Miss Real Estate Agent over there, if you send everybody who wants to buy a pool over to me, I'll send everybody who's selling a house and buying a house over to you. And we'll do the same thing with the paint guy and with the mortgage guy. You had this great little ecosystem of people who are all about the house buying process, where they are symbiotic, where they are not going after the same dollar, but they're going after the same client. How much business are they losing? The amount is extraordinary, because I guarantee you people are buying houses and they're not getting tile from this guy who's cheaper than everyone. They're not getting Kelly Moore paints. They're not putting the pool in. They're not getting insurance from you. They're not getting the loan from this person. They're going off and fucking everywhere else and doing it. So if you could keep that all in the family, how much business could they refer to each other? And it would be a transformative moment if these guys could sit and talk together. Okay? Now, what's the best way of doing it? Let's say that loan guy goes out there and starts doing his video shit. Hey, why don't we do all this together? Hey, I had this great idea. Why don't we all work together? Why don't we create our own ecosystem? And when somebody comes in for anything, we all get them. And shoots the video, and it goes to everybody's database, and they all start working on a referral system. Think about it, how much business is lost? And the number is crazy. So, for loan officers, for real estate agents, where do we find inspiration in order for making our videos? We find the greatest source of inspiration and potential and possibility from our own lives and what we're doing. Think of your behavior. Think of where you go. Think of what you like. Think of what you dislike. And you go find those things that you think are great, and that's what you share.
Love it, man.
Awesome stuff. Thank you, Brian. That's great stuff. How'd that be like starting your own BNI, but one that's effective and you actually make money off of?
Right. Right.
Exactly. Yep. We call
all
that.
Right. Well, listen. I guess you want to go another hour?
Yeah, we did a good job. We went for about an hour. So if folks want information about March 17th ish, Brian, what should they do? Should they just kind of wait for you to announce something and post it in the groups that you're in, or?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'll send a link over to you guys. You can share it with whoever you want to share with. But yeah, if you want to learn more about some great video marketing, Fish, I think you're going to come out and help me with this thing. Did you say? Can I put you on the spot?
I'll come out if it's March 17th.
I'll tell you what. Right? St. Patrick's Day in San Francisco is going to be a fucking riot. Nice. But it's going to be great content. It's going to be, 15, 16, 17 is going to be our days. We're going to start 15 the day we land on a Thursday. We're going to bust ass Friday. We are going to actually get some party buses and head out to San Francisco, but we're going to make some stops along the way to shoot videos from different spots. We're going to have a great time in the city on Saturday, and then we're going to do a fulfillment Sunday and get you guys out of here. If you guys would like to come, it's first come, first serve. We're keeping the group small. We taxed it out last time we did it. I want a group that's going to be slightly smaller than the one we had last time. It was just we want to make sure that those who come to this really get as much out of it as possible, and we can only do that with a group that's relatively small. So it's first come, first serve. I'll get the link over to you, and with that said, we'll be talking soon.
I got one last thing, just
Sure.
just a reminder, some of this stuff you've helped us a lot with, some of the listing booster stuff, some of the video marketing. TJ and I did put it together in a structured system. We call the course Loan Officer Acceleration. You've helped us a lot with it, some of the recordings and some of the stuff that you've helped us with in listing booster.
Sure.
It's all in there. So, if somebody wants more help with learning how to be good at Listing Booster, learning how to use the CRMs, learning how to get the videos distributed, learning how to use the Facebook business pages and things like that, Loan Officer Acceleration is something you can hit TJ or I up about. No pressure or anything like that, but a lot of folks that have been in there have lots of good things to say about it. So
now, just real quickly, if I want to send people to it, do I just send them to your Facebook page, or do you have something I can actually email off to them, blast them?
TJ and I have something we can send to you that you can email to him. Absolutely. Yep.
Do me a favor, get that over to me, and I'll blast it to every Listing Booster user.
Cool.
Oh yeah.
Because you're gonna help our retention with this stuff. People will be more successful with it. So get that over to me. We will get it to everybody in Listing Booster the minute you get it to us.
Fish, get that to Brian as soon as we hang up.
Alrighty.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Brian.
See you
See you
guys.
soon.
Appreciate it, man.